And that way, say if you have a certain niche, you know, and you can't find stuff for, you can always check Offer Vault, because they have a lot of stuff too.
Okay.
But don't be afraid to always, you know, if you can't find something, you can always reach out to me, and I'll see what I can do for you. Or, as I said, go to the contact page or the About Us page on the company and just send them an email. They might have one, and they just don't list it, and you just might not see it, you know.
Yeah.
And the last one, it's CJ.com. It's CJ Affiliates. And they pretty much have all the major companies and brands. They have Petco. I believe they have Best Buy, Walmart. They have, like, everything on there.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing. Like, really not being afraid to ask questions, not being afraid to, hey, if you don't know something, reach out to somebody. I guarantee you there's someone there that will know, and don't be afraid to ask people too. And
I'm sure if you know, Google probably knows if you word your search engine right.
Right, and man, Google is amazing in searching for, I mean, practically anything. I mean, it's grown so much, but they continue to improve it. It's they don't stop improving Google, and it's a huge tool for sure.
It's funny what you're saying. I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to do here in a few years with, you know, the new, you know, how they have Alexa voice, and now Google has its own voice app, and then now also Apple has its own, I think it's called like Home Base or Home Pod or something. It's going to be kind of interesting to see where, you know, the market leads to, because, like, say, for example, you have an Alexa. Well, if I tell Alexa to search for, you know, where's the best restaurant, well, is it going to use, you know, Google, or is it going to use another search engine, or is it going to use something else? You know, or like, you know, Apple, if you say, what's the best game? Well, is it going to show is it going to show something that benefits them or not? You know, it's kind of curious where they're going to lead it to, especially as, you know, Amazon bought Whole Foods, because they're so huge now. It's crazy.
Yeah, that was an amazing, when I seen that, I didn't even know they were considering buying Whole Foods. I didn't even know that was on their radar, so it caught me off guard. But now you start to think of people that normally don't go to Whole Foods may now start going. They said there's going to be some price changes, some differences. So that was a huge deal. But yeah, back to Google, it is going to be interesting to see what they do next, because they're very, I think, strategic at what they're trying to do, and it's going to be pretty cool to see what their next move is going to be.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. You know, it's definitely not sure where it's going to go.
Yeah, sure. So once again, talking with Michael Onofre, and if you have any questions, business related, social media, marketing, web development, whatever question you have, please feel free and put that into the chat room. Also, reach out to him on social media. His links are very simple. So Instagram is BLIZZ3010. That's also the same on Twitter. And then Michael Onofre on Facebook. So you can actually do Blizz3010. It's Blizz3010 on all my platforms, my page and everything. All right. So you're going to be doing a podcast coming up. Hasn't started yet, but what will that podcast be about? So if listeners want to check it out.
Yeah, I plan to launch it here in about 2 to 3 weeks. It's mainly going to be, you know, about business, entrepreneurship, you know, how to start, you know, working from home and actually, you know, making money, you know, the process of doing it. And pretty much just going to help everybody, you know, start this long grind. I mean, help any local businesses, you know, because I'm sure there's businesses out in, you know, California or across the country, you know, that have questions that just can't figure out where to get them. And if I can, you know, help them out, I'm going to try. Now, it's pretty much going to be a Q&A based podcast where, you know, listeners will be able to call up and ask any questions they want, and I'll try to answer them as best I can.
Great, man. So this is a sports podcast, and I got to ask you about the Buffalo Bills. That is a team we were chatting about. You don't feel too fond about them. We've actually got a fan. His name is Rough Buff. That's his chat name, but he's a Bills fan. But what's your thoughts on these Bills this year?
Well, I felt pretty good after 2 weeks ago, and then last week I have mixed feelings, but they are still a new squad. We do got a new coach. I'm actually pretty impressed. They're doing better than I thought they would. That's for sure. I'm hoping with this bye week, they pick up the game here and at least make the playoffs this year.
Yeah, that would be nice. And it's not impossible, but they are going to have to win the majority of their games. Of course, being in the same division with New England, the Jets average, yeah. Miami average, so they've got a shot. They're going to have to make probably the wild card. Would probably be their best bet. So in our chat room, Miss Mocha Bella, who's the one that had the questions, she said the Bills not going anywhere. So there's always always funny in this.
I thought she was my friend at first, but I'm not sure about that anymore.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
But she loves to go at some of the other listeners who are Bills fans. But what other sports do you follow? Are you a fan of baseball or basketball or anything?
For the most part, I pretty much just watch football. I used to be a pretty good Sabres fan when I used to live up in Buffalo, or up near Buffalo years ago. But I haven't followed it much anymore since I'm down here in the Sunshine State.
All right.
Got tongue-tied there.
Yeah. So everybody, on all avenues of social media, which I'm going to put that in the chat room right now, Blizz3010. Once again, Michael Onofre. Also, go check out the website, michaelonofre.com. He's a great guy, great guest to get on the show, so go check him out. Have a good one.
Yeah, if you guys got any other questions, feel free to hit me up on Instagram, Twitter. As I said, if you got any questions, I'll answer them best as I can.
All right, well, take care.
And I want to thank you. I want to thank you all for taking time to listen in.
Definitely. They enjoyed it for sure.
Hopefully, I answered some questions for them.
Definitely you did. And also, they'll be reaching out on social media for sure. I think they'll definitely have some questions for you.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a good one.
Hey, you guys have a good afternoon.
All right.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
No problem. All right, Michael Onofre. That was some good information. It really was. I mean, I'm starting to learn more and more about affiliate programs. Pinterest, I didn't know the value of Pinterest. I mean, I just thought it was about posting recipes and stuff like that. So I learned a lot. Mocha Bella says, Big L, the game just started. Here they go, going back and forth. Georgia Tech is to score again. Miami sucks. Facts. Man, I can't wait to see the end of that game, the end score, because there is going to be some talk in the chat rooms, in the group me, and everything for that one. So next up, we're going to be talking with Jonathan J. Bates about Major League Baseball playoffs. Got the Astros versus the Yankees, got the Dodgers versus the Cubbies. Can the Cubs make it back to the World Series? So we'll be talking about that here in just a moment. But some other things from this week. Derrick Rose comes out and says he's fine with his Cavs salary and says he'll be able to make double on the next contract. Derrick Rose, formerly known as D Rose. People don't call him D Rose anymore. People call him Derrick Rose. You start losing nicknames when you start getting injured a lot and when you're not as what people thought you were. But shout out to Derrick Rose. But he says he'll get double on the next contract. I don't think so. Let's all be honest here. You're towards the back end of your career. You're towards the back end to your abilities. If he balls out, if he wins like comeback player of the year, he could probably get double. But that's it. That's what you're gonna have to do. Some other news from today. Surprisingly, the San Antonio Stars of the WNBA have a deal to relocate to Las Vegas. this now means we will have three teams in Vegas. I'm pretty sure there's going to be an NBA team that's going to follow. I think there's going to be a Major League Baseball team. There's already a team, I believe it's a minor league team that's there right now. But this is big news right here for Vegas. It's WNBA. They have links to the NBA. And I think the NBA is definitely looking at Vegas as a possible relocation spot. Or it could be a possible expansion spot. So Vegas is booming. They already got the Raiders. They already have the Las Vegas Knights, the NHL team. They've now got a WNBA team. It'll be, before you know it, there will be an NBA team there and a Major League Baseball team there. Also, rest in peace to Y.A. Tittle, or Title. I think it's Tittle. He was a Giants great, NFL Hall of Famer. He passed away at 90. He led the Giants to 3 division titles in the 1960s, but never won a championship final in high school, the college, or the pros. But rest in peace to him. Also, I got to talk about this Mike Ditka comment. There has been no oppression in the past 100 years. Where have you been? Where do you live? Do you walk around with blinders on? He came back to correct that statement, and he said as far as the NFL. But even that doesn't make any sense. Give me a number of how many black coaches we have. Name a number of how many Hispanic coaches we have. Head coaches I'm talking about. So there has been oppression. He just seems not to see it. And that's what I get from Mike Ditka. People with their comments, they need to say them out loud to someone else before they say them on the air or before they say them in front of a podium. Plain and simple. You need to have a buffer or know someone that can tell you, hey, that's not a good comment. Or, hey, that is a good comment. So, losing a little bit of respect for Mike Ditka. Also, I already talked about Brandon Marshall being out. Also, not to mention Dwayne Harris being out. These Giants, I'm sorry. I don't have very much positive to say about them. 0-5 as well. Goodell sends a letter saying he wants players to stand. Quoting him, move past anthem controversy. By you saying move past, people aren't going to move past it. Plain and simple. Don't tell people to move past something that they're standing up for a reason. This is not like they're not standing because of something irrelevant. This is a relevant issue, and you cannot tell someone to move past the racial injustice that go on in this country. This is not a move past type of situation. So, Goodell, what are you doing?
Come on, son. Come on.
What are you doing with that comment? The majority of your players, or a lot of your players, are kneeling for a specific reason. This is not something that they can move past. So that was a nice comment. I mean, if you want to give a golf clap for making a comment, but that means nothing. So Goodell, once again, has put himself in a situation where he is going to be hated, just like the Cowboys owner, Jerry Jones. So Big L says, RC says, Ditka said almost the exact same thing last year when discussing Kaepernick. He meant what he said. I agree. You start to get backlash and you change what you said before. And you can't change it. It was already said. It was already done. That came from a place. That came from somewhere. That wasn't something you just made up one day. No oppression in 1917. Mike Ditka is crazy, says Big L. Miss Mocha Bella says the colonizers don't know the